Welcome back to the Football Outside the Box podcast, where we discuss the past, the present, and the future of football. And let's start it off with a comment from this man once out last weekend saying he doesn't think anybody of the top three is going to drop any more points this season, and especially Liverpool. And funnily enough, a week later, or 2 weeks later, I should say, Liverpool have now dropped points twice in a row, and the Arsenal have also dropped points. So to make it an 0-3, City are the only one left to drop points. First, what do you think of the title ambitions of the first two mentioned? And second, will City drop points?
I well before I'm very glad to have been wrong in this case. Liverpool, my team played a part in dropping them 2 points. That loss was actually Van Dijk's first ever Premier League loss at Anfield, which is crazy. He came over in 20, was it 17 or 18? It was it
Just
was
incredible.
the winter of 2017, right? So we're saying 7 years in the league undefeated until. Or is it the second one? I think Leeds actually beat them last year.
That's like a Jose Mourinho achievement.
Right. Yeah. Jose famously lost to Sunderland, right? Against Chelsea. Um, I still have Arsenal for the title. I've been saying this. I still have them for the title, even though they lost against Villa. I still have them. That means I see City dropping points.
Yo, I don't know why you're holding on to this jinx against Arsenal. This man won't let go.
It's almost like he wants it to happen.
I know. But at this point, Christian, does he have a point? Do you agree with him? Or is this guy just not letting go?
Well, I was a little bit worried from my prediction when we said it a while back. I predicted that City was going to come through and win the title like they always do. And, like they say, dread it, run from it. Destiny always arrives. And for me, this is only further cementing the status of what I call the English Agricultural League or the English Farmers League, or whatever you might want to call it. Because Man City, I don't actually see the only place I see them dropping points potentially is against a team where they always seem to drop points for some reason, which is Spurs. I don't know why City always seem to drop points against Spurs, but other than that, I just don't see where they lose.
Yeah, I think that's a fair take, honestly. That's probably the one place you could see them dropping points. But at this point, they sit at the top of the league. They don't look like they're dropping points at this rate. The confidence is flying. Man like Phil Foden. But going back to the teams that did slip up, I want to talk about Liverpool here for a second. Of course, I'm picking Liverpool to talk about first.
Yeah,
But
we'll get to it in a
They,
bit.
they, they were the first game.
is
They
that,
were the
yeah,
first team to drop
again,
points.
as you said, dread it is still a part of the destiny. Can't run from it. What is wrong with Liverpool? I mean, for me, it's something I've been talking about from before. Darwin Núñez, man, he misses his clear chances too much. I know you guys rate him. I know you guys do, but for me, this is why I don't rate the man, bro. He's missing way too many chances, and Liverpool as a whole, is
Well,
that
let
a
me just say
questionable?
something real quick. I didn't actually watch the Liverpool game, but last night I just saw the results when it happened, and I was like, wow, almost wanted to laugh about it, but didn't. I saw the game last night that was just replaying on TV, and it was like in the back, or I think it was the highlights that were showing on TV, and it was just on in the background. I was doing something else completely, not focusing on the game. I looked up at the screen for like 5 seconds, and what did I see? Darwin Núñez with the ball dropped at a decent height on the line of the 6 yard box. And all he had to do was put it in, and he didn't. What is going on with these wasteful chances?
I mean, I think this was we could have said this about City maybe 2, 3 months ago. they were missing early chances and letting other teams score. And sometimes they come back, but sometimes they can't. The biggest example being the Chelsea game at the Etihad. They missed a bunch of chances in the beginning. They let Chelsea score. They salvaged a 1-1 draw with Rodri's goal in the 86th minute, I think. Same thing is happening to Liverpool. We mentioned fatigue. You can see that, I think, in the players. They have slow starts, I will say, from what I've seen. And like you guys have said, strikers missing chances. If you miss that many chances, and this was the same at Old Trafford too, they missed 3 golden chances at least. Then you're bound to drop points.
Yeah, and credit to Crystal Palace too, by the way. They scored a nice goal, and I think Jurgen Klopp actually wowed their goal on the stands. I saw that little replay. But I mean, they deserve credit, you know? And wouldn't it be just like Crystal Palace to destroy
Right.
Liverpool title hopes?
But
We know they've done
exactly,
it
I
before.
think it was almost exactly 10 years ago
Yeah,
where
they've
Suarez
done it.
cried on the
They've done it
pitch.
before.
Yeah.
My goodness. But as with Liverpool, there is also Arsenal. And Arsenal, all they had to do was go and beat Villa to say, yeah, man, we are not like Liverpool. We are actually meaning business this season. And then Leon Bailey. My goodness. No, what happened in that game?
But sorry, before you go, no, what I just want to ask, what are your feelings on Unai Emery? Because he's failed your club, he got sacked, and he's come back to haunt you twice this season.
It's it's written in the stars. I mean, it's actually poetic at this point. The man, I think he was at like a 1.7 points per match at Arsenal, and now at Villa he's at like a 1.9. So apparently he's overperforming at Villa for some reason. Some people say it's a lack of pressure. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just wasn't given enough time or given the players that, he really wanted. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just written in the stars, like I said. But then you really ask a question and say, I don't want to leave where I'm at right now. Sure, he haunted us in 2 matches, but we're fighting for a title right now. Like, I can't complain about that at the end of the day.
No, of course. I mean, look, I think that Unai has players that suit him at Villa. I actually think Villa have a great set of players. I think Arsenal under him were really lacking in quality, although at the time Arsenal fans didn't seem to think so. I always told them about their players, but alas, I don't think he had the types of players that he needed at Arsenal to be able to properly implement his type of game. And he's doing that at Villa, and he's showing it there. Obviously they are overachieving. Arsenal fans, in my opinion, they get the talk about it. They get the banter on Twitter and wherever. I don't think they need to bat an eye about it. They have Arteta. He is their man, and they're in a much better place now. All credit to Unai, but it's no real big deal for Arsenal. The big deal for Arsenal fans right now is the fact that they've dropped 3 crucial points at a time in the season when you can't. You're like, this is the business end of the season. We know this is when City always comes good, always starts to, push.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. It had to be the Jamaican man though, of course. But
On
The
on his
baller.
right foot. On his right foot.
on the right foot, I mean, look, we can only look at ourselves as well. Like Christian said, like Aston Villa are a good side though this year. I mean, they were my dark horse team at the start of the season, and now they're looking extremely good. But man, you just have to look on some questionable calls, like from the manager, from some of the players. Zinchenko, like, where are you, bro? Like this guy, I think I looked up, he was in like right center back. Like, I don't understand those things sometimes. And then he took off Odegaard after, to me, he had an excellent first half. Just some of those decisions made me question. Maybe he had an eye on the Bayern game coming up. I don't know, but we got
But
two things to fight for.
but that's crazy because I've seen a lot of fans complain about him changing a lineup that's worked very well since what the winter break in the Premier League. I don't know if that's because of the Bayern Munich game or he just felt that was the lineup to go with. But to tinker with the lineup that's worked for so well, I mean, you played on a Tuesday and it was a Sunday match, right? So there's no I mean you could say the Champions League match is on a Wednesday, so you need to rest some players. But no, I don't buy that. It's the business end of the season. If you're fit, you're playing. You're the best possible team. You have to roll out there. And as I mean, okay, no disrespect, and we know that's disrespect. But if you're playing Sheffield United at home, I understand if you're playing Zinchenko over Kivior or whatnot. But this is Aston Villa, who the team that already beat you at their home turf earlier in the season.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it's a weird thing for Arsenal because sorry to cut you, but um I don't think that they see the two competitions in the same way. I think that very much the idea of the Champions League and going all the way in the Champions League should be seen as a plus, if anything. I think that Arsenal need to dispel the demons of not having won the Premier League for the last 20 years.
I think it's a little of both. You can say it's a demons of never winning the Champions League is also a demon in itself. This whole mentality towards Bayern Munich is already a thing. But I think that narrative about changing the lineup or keeping your lineup the same could go either way. If we go and win that game, he's now a genius for
Arteta looks a genius. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, coming and putting this new system. And if he
He's like
doesn't
Pep.
change it, you know what I'm saying? And then if he does change it up, and then we end up with the same result, he's now stale or is stubborn and afraid to change things up. So it all just depends. As he says, the business end of the season, every single match, every single narrative is gonna depend on the result, no matter what happens.
I
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if Arsenal are losing that match.
To
Oh,
to to Bayern?
no, no, no. I mean, if they played their full strength lineup against Villa, I
Oh,
don't
oh, oh.
losing that game based on how big of a role they were on. I don't see. I hear you. You say narrative. Had they won this game, we're not even talking about the lineup. We're not even talking about Jesus. We're not even talking about Zinchenko. But they lost, and I think Zinchenko. It's funny how opinions have turned. Zinchenko and Jesus, both of them who came from City, were almost like saviors earlier,
It was
early
never
on.
my Jesus was never my savior answer. I made that
Okay,
clear.
okay, maybe not you, but a lot of the fans they loved him when he first came in.
They love
Same,
Zinchenko too.
yeah, same with Zinchenko, and I'm seeing a lot of fans turn on them, both of them actually. Um, so well, I mean, we'll see. I think the biggest thing to draw from this is Arsenal need quality backups.
For sure. We're at a good we're getting there though. We have a decent bench. Now it's about like you said, adding to that bench for sure.
I said this when you weren't on Noah, but I think Arsenal are gonna sign Osimhen this summer.
I hope so. I mean, yeah, hopefully those words come to existence, come to fruition somehow. But yo, I want to switch gears a little bit because I'm tired of talking about my bottling side yet again. Just looking like
It's
Arsenal
not
of
over,
old.
bro. Remember,
It's
it's
not
not
over,
over.
but it just gives me, it's like PTSD, bro. It's all over again. Bottling it with the perfect opportunity. But a man who did take his opportunity in a side that haven't been taking their opportunities this season, I'm officially giving him a legal name change. This guy is now Cold Palmer because this man is cold as shit.
Yeah, he's been doing well. I almost hate it because, you know, he's for lack of a better term, a City reject. He goes and sorry, I don't know if that was audible, but he's not so much a reject in the sense that we knew that Pep Guardiola liked Palmer. We knew that he believed in him and saw his quality in the same way that Foden had to wait. In the same way that Foden had to wait for his opportunity with City, it eventually came, and now he is the one of the 3 or 4 main men of that team. Cole Palmer, you had a feeling that he was going down that kind of same trajectory where it was going to take time. They weren't going to, throw him straight into the starting lineup every week. And he's not getting that at Chelsea. And of course, the Chelsea fans are like, oh, this dude is just the best player in the world. Chelsea fans don't have a lick of shame, bro. Like, come on. Palmer is excellent, obviously. But Chelsea is just in such a horrendous rut right now. Like the fact that a City youth product who wasn't getting into starting lineup, who they were kind of, grooming him to prepare him for that role. And then he comes and saves your sorry ass club. I'm so sorry. I would be embarrassed.
I mean, not much saving going on for real.
I mean, without him, they would be in the relegation zone. So
He's the only one keeping them afloat.
yeah,
So he's
But I'm
saving
saying, I
them.
don't know how much save. I mean, I guess with that point, that's a good point. But I don't know. I just don't consider your side sitting at 10th or 11th as saving, to be honest.
No, brother, but look at where they could be.
yeah,
And
they
it's
would
Yeah,
be
I know. When you
15th.
put that point in it, yeah, it definitely makes that clearer. But I
Yeah,
still,
and to be honest, again, this is just something that I see because of all of the talk around the place on social media and stuff. They talk about it's like they have no shame. They talk about him as though, he's the top scorer. Look at him, he's scoring all these goals. Bro, the man has 9 penalties. Almost half of his goals are penalties. Have some shame.
I mean, do you blame them with the season that they're having, or they've had the past 2 seasons? But I mean,
Yes, I do. I do.
yeah,
They should hang their heads in shame.
well,
And
it
it's
was a
not.
perfect hat trick, by the way. This last one.
the one against Everton,
Yeah.
Well, he scored 4, so I wouldn't say it's a perfect hat trick. But I know what you mean. Left foot, right foot, better. But what's funny slash stroke ironic is that they never wanted Cole Palmer in the first place. Remember, they were going for Michael Olise, right? And then Olise rejected them, and that was their backup option. It was almost like,
quality too, by the way.
yeah, it was almost like they stumbled upon, they fall ass backwards on Cole Palmer, and he turns out to be the best player that they ever signed in 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 in
In
their
recent times, for
in their
sure.
yeah, in their new regime. So, but also that gets me thinking, like, would Palmer be this effective, this good in the City side? I'm not sure because first of all, we don't know if he's gonna even get this opportunity, right? But maybe Palmer is a type that needs to be the main man, but he was never going to be that at City.
I didn't realize he was 21.
How did
Yeah,
you think he was?
21. I thought he was younger. I thought he was, to be honest, he was in his teenage years. I thought he was 19 or something. He's older than
Oh.
Bellingham. That's kind of wild.
does that change your opinion on him?
I mean, not really. Like, I don't like when people bring up age, like when they say, oh, look at what Modric is doing at 39 versus what Iniesta was doing at 39. Modric better than Iniesta. No, I think those discussions are bullshit. But I mean, it is
Bullshit.
kind of weird. Yeah, then I think it's bullshit to sort of make those comparisons. I think different people have different peaks and different ages at where they perform well. But
Yeah, Modric was at Tottenham when they were what 20,
yeah,
22. So
yeah, Iniesta had already won like 2 Champions League or 3 or whatever, But it's the point I'm making is that, like, no, that doesn't change my opinion of him. I just didn't realize that he was He was that old. Like it really had been a while because the way I saw him at City was I saw him like a Phil Foden. Like Pep spoke about him, spoke very highly of him. And it just felt like he was gonna be the next one on that conveyor belt. They were gonna give him a small amount of time here and there. Everybody was gonna talk in the media about how, oh, does Pep trust Cole Palmer? Like how they asked, does he trust Phil Foden? Like, does he think Phil Foden can really do it? Phil Foden need to find a new club. And eventually he came good. I thought that's what we were gonna see. But you know, he's doing it at Chelsea. I don't know. I get this weird feeling when I look at Cole Palmer in Chelsea. It almost seems like he doesn't want to be there. It's like the feeling of maybe that's just how his face kind of looks, but it's like almost like how Aubameyang looked when he went to Chelsea. It looked like he'd rather be anywhere else but there.
No, it's 100% his face. He looks like a typical. He looks British. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
He just screams British.
You know,
yeah.
he's apparently part
Really does.
Jamaican, by the way.
I saw
Oh yeah.
I've heard, yeah.
So what do you guys think of that penalty dispute, that embarrassment that happened versus Everton?
Yeah, I think Dele Alli put it the best, pretty much. A week or so ago, they had a penalty against Man United in the 96th minute. They didn't want it then when the game was on the line to salvage at least a point at that point. But now they're 4-0 up. It's gonna be, if they score, it's gonna be the fifth goal. Now everybody wants a piece. I think that's a bit weak, or very weak, I should say, not a bit weak.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen other teams in the past, give up their penalties for other players. And, to see that in comparison to what we saw with Chelsea, as you say, it's just not a good look. But speaking of Manu, as you said, that's right, we're coming for you. You can't run, by the way. You can't run.
But why? We're in seventh. Who
We're still
cares?
coming for you. I don't know what you think about these abysmal drop points for you guys. What do you guys need to do differently? But first, I will give you a compliment, though. You did call Mainu to be the guy to watch, and you called him a good amount of time ago, and he's balling at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I'm not sure what the I don't even know what the problem is. So where I don't know if the manager knows what the problem is either. Or maybe he knows it, he doesn't. There's managers who like to push their style, right? So maybe he does know what the problem is, but he wants to push for whatever he's looking for. But yeah, I don't know if he's staying here next season. How can you? I mean, this is his audition in a sense. So how can you justify getting dominated week in, week out by pretty much every single team in the league? You know, um, and in 2008, uh, well, I forget what team it was. There was the worst team in the Premier League history. They got
Derby
relegated with
County.
yeah, they got relegated with 13 points. We have faced so far in the 32 matches more shots than Derby County have in the whole season of
No way.
2007, 2008. So
Those guys were losing like 6 love every week.
they won one game the whole season, and we've conceded. Conceding shots, okay, you can debate like what. Okay, if majority of them are from outside the box, whatever. But it's not just about shots. We're getting dominated by every team week in, week out. So I was not surprised when I saw that stat. That would be something okay. Before the season started, I never would have guessed that is something that we would have broken. Um,
It's just an
but
embarrassment.
but now, I mean, I'm watching the performances week in, week out. I'm expecting 25 shots every single game.
You know how it's crazy how times can change. I remember at the start of the season when everybody saw this clip of Onana screaming at Maguire, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, we have this leader in the team. He's gonna come in and change the whole complexion of the team." And no, bro. Oh my goodness, how times have changed.
Crazy. I still think he's good. He
Well,
just
no, Onana's been decent. I don't know if you're poking fun at Onana or just the team in general, but
A little both. I mean, in my opinion, I still think Onana is shaky. I mean, I really do. I do understand you saying, okay, he makes some good shot stoppings and you guys face a lot of shots. I still find him like awkward in the goal.
I mean, I feel the same way. I see there's a goal that we conceded that he could have saved with his feet, where I know David De Gea would have saved that with his feet because I've seen him for 12 years, and Onana doesn't really have that. But I don't really blame him. It's just he's working overtime. We talk about people working overtime. He's working 4 times overtime. So, I mean, I'm not sure what you can expect from him. His pass and his distribution is still on point. I see him picking out Hoyland. Problem is players can't hold up the ball, poor touches or whatnot. Um, but yeah, it's just, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just looking forward to. The thing is, Tottenham keep dropping points and they keep giving me hope. And I'm like, just quit this shit. Just just stop dropping points to Newcastle, getting thrashed 4-0. There's just quit it.
well, one of two things are about to either contribute greatly to the title race or not. So it's a coin flip at this point for Man United. It's
Nah,
either they're gonna get, like pummeled by all three, or they're just gonna lose to Arsenal, Liverpool, and beat City.
I mean, I don't care what other teams do at this point. I just hope we don't get we cannot be the first team out of the big six to play in the Conference League. I guess Tottenham did too, but I don't. Who cares about Tottenham really? We cannot be the first team among the big four, the original big four. Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United to play in the Conference League.
It's a
I
big
cannot.
five now, man. Everybody, it's true. The Conference League, that would be a little bit of a social indictment on Manchester United. I cannot lie.
Bro, I will refuse to watch any of those matches against teams that I can't even pronounce. Like I am not watching that game.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine the most successful club in England in the
But but
Conference League?
but yes, Mainu, somebody said he plays like those job applications where they're hiring for like an entry level, but they uh like require 10 years of experience or whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's that, we're missing that kind of player who can play with the ball. He's
yeah.
got so much. You can tell someone's got quality when the way they kick about with the ball and they handle the
Oh,
ball.
definitely.
Yeah. And he's just that. So
I wanna just bring up one last point, one stat that I thought was interesting. Um, so I mean, as it relates to the solidification of the EFL, the English Farmers League, the Agricultural Association, did you know that both De Bruyne and Grealish have played less than 1,000 minutes this season? Like that is that is a very small amount of time for players who are, you know, they're starters for a team. And I think it's just wild that despite the fact that two of City's most creative outlets, Haaland is still the top scorer in the Premier League. Like, I think that just says something so strong about the fact that, bro, this league is done and dusted. Not this season. I'm not saying this season is done and dusted, but I'm saying this league is truly finished. Like, as a league, unless something can be done about Manchester City. Like, how do you compete with that?
we need Pep to leave ASAP. City weren't this dominant until Pep came in. It's Pep, bro. You can speak all about their setup. It's Pep.
It's Pep. The man is inevitable. How you have a situation where two of your most creative players are out for more than like 2/3 of the season, and your
Um,
striker is still top scorer.
I get your point. I don't think Grealish is one of the is the second most creative player in the team, but I get your point. We just need some type of Xabi Alonso Leverkusen moment. We need
No,
this
no,
type
no,
of
no.
thing.
No, for that you're speaking about a non-farmers league.
No, no,
Wait,
no, no. We had Bayern Munich winning it 11 years in a row. Would have been more if had Edin Dzeko not existed.
listen, we don't look to the past. We look to the right now, and Bayer Leverkusen is the German champion. What a day for it! I don't know if you guys watched that game, but it was scenes.
But I mean, yeah, congrats to Bayer Leverkusen, the first ever Bundesliga title.
Their first ever title from never accusing to never losing. I hope they go. I
Yeah, I
hope they
mean,
go unbeaten.
see, this is gonna be the test now. The remaining 5 games are meaningless.
Hmm.
And they've already achieved their goal. So this is the real
We'll see.
test.
We'll see. Some good Champions League games to look forward to for the rest of the day. But other than that, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys. I think we'll be back for next week.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.